Welcome to Lively Lewis Stories.
Buckle up, because you're about to join Levi and Ivy on an adventure.
All you need is your imagination, and off we
go! Lively Lewis Stories!
Hey there, awesome friends.
Guess what?
We're super thrilled to share some exciting news with you.
We've got our very own Lively Lewis merchandise.
Woohoo! Grab your parents and head over to livelylewishshop.com or simply click on the link below in our show notes.
Now, let's dive into today's story.
Levi and Ivy were just about ready to zip up their suitcase, but decided to go through their checklist one last time. Their mom and dad had carefully written out all of the things they needed for a very special and unique family trip they would be leaving for the following day. Hey guys, where do you think that they're going to go on this trip? Should we find out? Let's do it. Levi, I'll read off the things on our list one last time, and you say check when you see it in our suitcase, said Ivy as she grabbed the list from her desk. Sounds good, Ivy, replied Levi as he readied himself by the suitcase. Winter coats? Check. Gloves? Check. Winter hats? Check. Warm clothes? Check. Warm socks? Check. Winter boots? Check. More hats and gloves? Check and check. I think we've got all the really important stuff covered, said Ivy, looking pretty confident as she threw a fluffy scarf around her neck. I think you're right, added Levi, tossing in one more pair of wool socks into the suitcase for a good measure. And I know this isn't on the list, but did you pack the candy? Whispered Ivy with a smile. Of course, giggled Levi. After all, we'll need to keep our strength up while we're exploring the icy caves in the wilds of Alaska. Levi and Ivy gave each other a high five just as their mom and dad walked into the room. High-fiving over proper suitcase packing? That's what I like to see, said their mom, looking quite proud. We want to be extra sure we have the proper gear that we need for our vacation. You've got that right, added their dad. You don't want to be caught in one of the chilliest places on earth without your best pair of woolly gloves. Ivy and Levi assured their parents that they had gone through their packing list several times and had everything they needed. They all headed off to bed to get a good night's sleep as their plane was leaving very early the following morning. However, Ivy and Levi found it very difficult to sleep. Do you have a hard time sleeping before you're going on a trip? I do. Levi? Ivy whispered from her bed. What do you think our hotel is going to be like? Levi was so excited about the trip, he had chosen to sleep on the floor in Ivy's room that night. He knew he wouldn't be able to sleep and needed someone to talk to about what adventures awaited them in the last frontier, which is Alaska's state nickname. Well, I'm thinking we won't need to worry about running out of ice at the ice machine, laughed Levi. That's a good one, said Ivy. And I'm thinking we won't have to worry about the hotel pool ever being crowded. I mean, with a hotel made completely out of ice, I doubt many people are going to be jumping in for a swim. I can't believe we're going to sleep in an ice hotel. It's going to be amazing. I just have this feeling that something really special is going to happen on our vacation. Something we'll never forget. Like Dad forgetting we're in an ice hotel when he gets up in the morning and skates across the hotel room floor like he's playing hockey. Laughed Levi. Oh, that's definitely going to happen, giggled Ivy. But I just feel like this hotel is holding some kind of secret that we'll discover when we get there. But I just don't know what it is. I just have a feeling. Well, I'm feeling a little tired, so I think I'm going to try and get some sleep, said Levi with a big yawn. And in a few minutes, they were both asleep. Morning arrived quickly, and Ivy and Levi were up before their parents. They all got dressed, ate breakfast, packed up the car, and headed to the airport. As they drove away from their house, they waved goodbye to the comforts of home and were ready to rough it a bit in a chilly hotel room made of ice and snow. The hours passed slowly as the plane soared through the sky. Ivy just stared out the window for most of the ride. The feeling she had about the ice hotel was starting to grow. She was getting more and more convinced that she and her family were in for quite the experience. She couldn't wait to arrive and get their adventure started. As soon as the plane landed, they picked up their luggage. The next step, you would think, would be to grab a cab to the hotel and get settled. However, when they told the first cab driver the name of the hotel, he looked flustered and quickly said he wasn't able to make the drive. He advised them to get another cab and drove off. How strange. Wonder what's going to happen. Ivy, Levi, and their parents were very surprised, but thought perhaps the drive was too far and the driver wasn't interested. But actually, it turned out that none of the drivers were interested. One after another told them they were not willing to make the drive to the ice hotel. That is until they happened upon an old man. He had been watching them try to get a ride and finally knew it was his moment to act. "Excuse, folks, I can't help but overhear your little problem," said the man. "My name's Freddy, and I can take you to the ice hotel. You just have to ride in the back of my wagon here, and Old Lightning will get you where you need to go." "Old Lightning?" asked Levi and Ivy's mom out loud. "Yes, Old Lightning is my horse," said Freddy, pointing to the front of his wagon. "He knows these roads like the back of his hoof. He'll get you there in no time, and with the temperature dropping, you'll want to get inside quickly." "But since we're staying in an ice hotel, does the temperature really matter?" asked Ivy and Levi's dad. "I mean, if it's icy out here, it'll be icy in there, right?" "Oh, it's icy inside for sure, but that old hotel has a real cozy atmosphere," said Freddy with a smile, like he was talking about an old friend. "And the people who run it are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. They love that place, and it shows." Ivy and Levi's parents looked at each other, and after seeing no other option, agreed to go along with Freddy. They loaded up the kids and their luggage, and off they went, slowly down the dimly lit snowy roads of rural Alaska, toward their home for the next few days. As they rounded turn after snowy turn, they finally saw some lights twinkling in the distance. "There it is," said Freddy. "The Frost Ice Hotel. You're really lucky to have gotten a room this time of year. I heard they've been sold out for months." Freddy pulled up to the front entrance of the grand, glistening ice hotel. The chilly air stung Ivy's nose and eyes, but also made her feel wide awake and alive. The hotel was enormous and rose up before them in all its glacial glory. Ivy and Levi stood stunned as they stared at the freezing, frosty fortress. "Well, have a great time and be sure to tell the Frost family that runs this place that Freddy and Old Lightning say hello," said Freddy as he took his seat back in the wagon. Then, with the flip of the reins, started Old Lightning back on his way back down the long, snow-covered driveway. "Levi?" said Ivy in a low voice. "You can't tell me that after seeing this place in person, that there isn't something special going on here." For the first time, Levi knew what Ivy meant. He was also getting a feeling that some great adventure waited just inside the icy walls in front of them. As they followed their parents inside, they gazed up at the night sky, the clearest one either of them had ever seen, with millions of stars decorating the black canvas above their heads. "Kids, follow us," called their dad. "We're supposed to meet the owners in the lobby, and they'll show us to our room. Please remember to be polite when you meet them," added their mom. "I heard they have 2 kids about your age." "Yes, remember your manners. Don't forget to say freeze and thank you," said their dad, barely able to get out his dad joke before bursting into laughter. "Good one, Dad," said Levi. "Get it? Freeze? Like please?" laughed their dad, unable to control himself. "Yes, Dad, we get it," said Ivy, rolling her eyes. At that moment, they heard the ice around them shifting and cracking. It was an unsettling noise to people who had never been in an ice hotel before. Then they saw a family walking toward them. The family could see they were nervous and, trying to quickly help the situation, introduced themselves. "No need to worry, friends. The ice shifts and cracks all the time. It's just what ice does," said the older man. "But our ice hotel is just about the strongest thing around here, so there's no need to worry." "Yeah, my dad helped build this place, and we've lived here for, well, a really long time and never had any problems," said the boy in the group. "Where are our manners? We haven't even introduced ourselves," said a woman walking forward. "I'm Fern Frost. This is my husband, Frank, and our 2 children, Fiona and Finn, and we own the Frost Ice Hotel." Ivy, Levi, and their parents looked instantly relieved. They were very happy to meet the Frosts and also very happy to soon be headed to their room. It had been a long day of traveling, and they were very tired. "Hello, I'm Alexa. This is my husband, Eric, and our kids, Ivy and Levi," said Ivy and Levi's mom. "It's so good to meet you, and we hope that you enjoy your stay at the Frost Ice Hotel," said the man, offering to help with their luggage. "Follow me this way to your room." Levi and Ivy walked a few steps behind the grown-ups with Fiona and Finn and got to know them a bit. "This place is amazing," said Ivy. "How long did you say you've been living here?" "Gosh, it's over 120, Finn started to say before Fiona interrupted him. 120 days, I think, was what Finn was going to say. said Fiona quickly as she didn't want Finn to finish his sentence. Yep, we've been here a little over 4 months helping our parents get ready for the busy season. How cool is it living in a block of ice? Asked Levi, pretending to skate down the long icy hallway toward their room. It's pretty great, said Finn. You never run out of ice cubes, and any room can become a hockey rink in the blink of an eye. I'll show you tomorrow. Levi gave his new friend a high five and said it was a deal. Ivy talked with Fiona, who looked a little nervous, as if she was afraid Finn was going to accidentally spill some huge secret. Well, here's your room, said Fiona as they all caught up with the grown-ups. We'll see you tomorrow for sure. Okay, that would be great, replied Ivy. I have so many more questions about this place. I can't put my finger on it now, but I just know something extraordinary is going on here. You got that right, said Fiona and Finn under their breath. What was that? Asked Ivy. Oh, nothing. We'll see you tomorrow and show you around, said Fiona as she grabbed a hold of Finn's hand and led him back down the hall. As they walked away, Levi and Ivy finally had a chance to see what they were wearing. They looked like old fur coats with giant fur-lined hoods and boots that looked like giant socks. Ivy commented that their outfits looked similar to the ones she had seen in an Alaskan history book she took out of the library when she was trying to learn more for the big trip. Very interesting clothing, said Ivy to Levi. Do you think Fiona and Finn are keeping a secret from us? I can't be sure now. I'm just too tired to think about it. But I'll give it my full attention in the morning, replied a very sleepy Levi. Their parents said goodbye to Frank and Fern as Ivy remained in the hallway, still trying to figure out what this feeling was she was having. It was then she remembered she hadn't told the Frost family that Freddy and Old Lightning said hello. Mr. and Mrs. Frost, Freddy and Old Lightning brought us up here and they said to say hello, shouted Ivy. The Frost turned around and gave her a sweet smile. We haven't seen Freddy and Old Lightning in some time, said Mr. Frost. We miss them a lot. I'm glad you had the chance to meet them. And looking like he was tearing up a bit, he turned with his wife and continued down the hallway. It was then that Ivy noticed they were wearing the same old-fashioned fur-lined coats and boots as Fiona and Finn. The morning could not get here soon enough for Ivy. She was so curious to talk with Fiona and Finn more and finally find out what was really going on at the ice hotel. After a relatively comfortable night's sleep on top of a bed of ice topped with many giant blankets, Ivy and Levi and their parents went to the lobby area for breakfast. And that's where they saw the Frost family again. Fiona, Finn, over here, shouted Ivy as she saw the Frost kids by the check-in desk. Hi, Ivy and Levi, said Fiona. How did you sleep last night? Pretty good, actually, said Levi. Freddy told us this place was very cozy, and he was right. Freddy? Said Fiona and Finn with a great surprise and excitement. You met Freddy and Old Lightning? Are they still here? Asked Finn excitedly. No, sorry, they brought us here last night before we met up with you, replied Levi. Oh, okay, said Fiona and Finn, their excitement turning into disappointment. Why are you so sad? Do you know him and his horse very well? Asked Ivy. You could say that, said Fiona, giving a half smile. But let's get you two some breakfast and get ready for a fun day. It was obvious to Ivy that Fiona wanted to change the subject quickly, sort of the same way she wanted to stop Finn from talking last night. After breakfast, Fiona asked Ivy and Levi if they wanted to take a tour of the ice hotel. Ivy couldn't say yes fast enough and didn't even let Levi answer before she grabbed his hand and pulled him along. Fiona and Finn were still wearing the same clothes as last night, which Ivy couldn't stop thinking about after seeing them. So when everyone fell asleep, she looked up the outfits on her phone, and sure enough, they were very common for people to wear in the early 1900s in Alaska because of the very cold temperatures. Maybe they're really into their Alaskan culture and heritage, said Levi when Ivy told him the information she had found about the clothes. But Ivy wasn't completely convinced that was what was going on. She had to find out more. She talked to Fiona a lot about the history of the hotel as Levi and Finn ran around sliding and sledding on the snow and ice. Fiona told Ivy that the Frost Ice Hotel was built in 1901 and her family had been running it for hundreds of years. They walked around the lobby area and Fiona pointed out pictures and told Ivy quick little stories about the way the hotel used to look back then versus what it looks like now. She thought her stories would be enough to stop Ivy's questions, and she also thought they would distract her from looking too closely at the pictures. But Ivy was in full detective mode, and once she saw the large hotel photograph by the front door, she finally started to put the pieces of this interesting icy puzzle together. Wow, your great-great-great-grandmother looks just like you, said Ivy, pointing to the picture. I mean, that can't be you, right? Because this picture is marked 1901 and shows the grand opening of the hotel. Yep, definitely not me, said Fiona, sounding very nervous. How about we go get a snack? Any kind of ice cream you want? As Fiona started to walk away, Finn and Levi walked over to the picture. Hey, that looks just like you, Finn, said Levi, pointing to the picture and laughing. You're making such a silly face. Yeah, that picture took forever to take because of those old-timey cameras, Finn began to say. I got bored halfway through and made that silly face. Finn, what are you saying? Shouted Fiona. You know that's not us. I mean, not you. Those are our great-great-great-grandparents that just happen to look a lot like us, right? Yeah, that's what I meant, said Finn as he whispered, I'm sorry, to his sister. Okay, Fiona, let's stop pretending that everything here at the hotel is normal, said Ivy. We don't want to make you nervous or scared or upset. We just want to know the truth. Fiona finally broke down and told Ivy what she already knew. You figured it out, Ivy. The feeling you had about this place is true. It is extraordinary. Because once my family opened it in 1901, we never left, Fiona began. And I don't mean my great-great-great-grandparents. I mean Finn and I and my parents. We've worked here for over 120 years. There's something magical about the ice that keeps us young, and we love this place so much that we want to stay here forever. Please don't tell anyone, Ivy and Levi, pleaded Finn. No one has ever found out this information, and if it gets out that the hotel has magic powers, then everything will change for us. Please don't worry, Fiona and Finn, said Ivy reassuringly. We'd never do anything to hurt you or your family or the hotel. The four friends smiled at each other. Can I ask you one more question? Ivy said. Why would your dad have teared up when I mentioned Freddy and Old Lightning? And you and Finn looked sad when I said he left last night. Fiona felt the tears welling up in her eyes as she told Levi and Ivy to take a closer look at the old picture on the wall. And once they did, they saw someone they recognized standing behind Fiona and Finn. Freddy's our grandfather, and his job when the hotel first opened was to shuttle guests back and forth from his town in the wagon, pulled by the best horse in town, Old Lightning, explained Fiona. However, the magic in the hotel only works for our family, and my Grandpa Freddy is only allowed to drive his wagon back and forth, added Finn. We never know when he's going to arrive, but every once in a while we see him before he heads back down the driveway. Those are special days. So that's why all the cab drivers were nervous to drive us up here? Said Levi. Yeah, they get an unusual feeling about this place too, just like you did, began Fiona. But instead of coming here to get to know us and seeing for themselves, they just stay away. We understand now, said Ivy. I'm so glad I followed my feeling because it led us to a whole family of extraordinary people. You and your parents are doing an amazing job running the Ice Hotel and giving people this special experience in the land that you love. For the next few days, Fiona, Finn, Ivy, and Levi were inseparable. They were together all the time and had wonderful icy adventures together. When it came time to leave, Ivy asked if they could take a picture together. Fiona was excited too, and Finn was ready with his best silly face. Say cheese, said Ivy and Levi's mom as she snapped a picture, said her goodbyes, and headed outside to catch a ride back to the airport. And lucky for everyone that day, Freddy and Old Lightning were waiting right there at the entrance. Grandpa Freddy! Called out Fiona and Finn as they ran and hugged their grandpa. Fern and Frank did the same. Knowing their encounter had to be short, they spoke quickly and gave one last hug before helping Ivy and Levi with their suitcase. Well, isn't that nice? Said Ivy and Levi's dad. Freddy is their grandpa. What a great little family business they've got here. I hope they're open another 120 years. Oh, don't worry, Dad, said Ivy as she hopped into the wagon with Levi. They will be. Then she and Levi gave Fiona and Finn one last big wave and watched as the Frost Ice Hotel disappeared into the snow-covered mountains. Want to start a podcast? Spotify has an easy, free platform called Spotify for Podcasters. Here's how it works. Record and edit your podcast on your phone or computer with ease. Share your podcast on Spotify and all other major platforms. You can even make video podcasts on Spotify. If you want to engage with your audience more, use Q&A and polls. You can earn money through ads and podcast subscriptions. It's completely free, no hidden cost. Give it a try. Visit www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started. We love making our podcast, and working with Spotify has been amazing. Did you learn a lesson from this story?
If so, what was it?
And parents, do your kids have a story idea?
Leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, the idea, and your kid's name for a chance to join Levi and Ivy on their next adventure. Until next time.
Thanks for listening. Come back for more.